Something's happening in Tampa Bay, and it's bigger than anyone expected. Two of the Buccaneers' biggest stars are still fighting through injuries that refuse to heal, and the silence from the team has fans worried. The playoffs are coming, and time is running out. Will the Bucs get their heroes back before it's too late? The tension in Tampa Bay is real. The Buccaneers' season has been a roller coaster, one moment filled with hope, the next clouded by injuries that just won't go away. And now, two of the team's most important players are at the center of it all. After weeks of rumors and waiting, we finally have updates, and let's just say, the news brings both relief and concern. Running back Bucky Irving and wide receiver Chris Godwin, two players who define this offense, are still not fully back on the field. Fans have been holding their breath, waiting for that spark of good news, but these injuries are dragging on longer than anyone expected. Here's the situation. Bucky Irving, who went down earlier this year after a promising start, has officially returned to practice under his 21-day activation window. That's huge. It means Tampa can bring him back to the active roster at any point in the next few weeks. But let's be honest, fans don't just want him available. They want him ready. Because this offense needs his energy, his burst, and that fearlessness that made him a breakout name in the preseason. As for Chris Godwin, things are trickier. The team is keeping things quiet, almost too quiet, and that's what's making people uneasy. Godwin has been battling his way back, but every day without him on the field feels heavier. Mike Evans can only do so much. The chemistry, the rhythm, the balance, it all changes when Godwin isn't there. And yet, there are signs of hope. Lavonte David has been seen back on the practice field, and the locker room energy feels different. You can feel it, this quiet confidence that if they can just get healthy, this Buccaneers team can go on a run. But the truth is, time is slipping away. The NFC race is tightening. The Panthers are suddenly on their heels. And every single game matters. The Buccaneers can't afford to wait much longer. Their future might depend on how fast these stars heal, and how strong they come back when they do. Every fan is asking the same question right now. When will Bucky Irving and Chris Godwin be back? And honestly, that's the hardest part. Nobody truly knows. Bucky Irving recently told a fan through DMs that he's ready. And maybe he believes that, because that's what true competitors do. They fight, they believe, and they can't stand watching from the sidelines. But the truth is, no player can rush their body's recovery, no matter how badly they want to suit up again. Head coach Todd Bowles gave an update that felt both hopeful and frustrating. He said Bucky's still progressing, running, yes, but still hasn't taken contact on that injured shoulder. And that's a huge red flag. Until he can handle physical hits, there's no real timetable for his return. As for Chris Godwin, Bowles kept it short. He's running. That's all. No word on when he'll practice. No detail on how that ankle, or now, whatever new issue might be bothering him, is actually healing. Just vague optimism. And that's where the fans' patience starts to wear thin. Because we've heard, he's getting better. For weeks, we've heard, they're close. But with no practices, no side drills, and no return dates, all anyone can do is guess. Even scarier, this kind of silence feels familiar. Remember Jalen McMillan? First it was a neck strain. Then suddenly, broken bones. His season likely gone. So naturally, fans are nervous. Nobody wants to see another injury snowball into something worse. Still, Bowles did leave a small crack of light. He said both Godwin and Bucky could return to practice soon. He didn't close the door, not yet. And that tiny bit of hope? That's enough to keep Bucs fans believing. Because if those two come back before the playoff push, everything changes. But let's be honest, the longer it takes, the harder it gets to stay calm. Tampa made no trades at the deadline, clearly trusting their guys to heal up and return. But if those comebacks don't happen soon, this team might be running out of time. So what do you think, Bucs fans? Should the team have made a move at the deadline? Or do you still believe Bucky and Godwin will return to save the season? Drop your thoughts below. How confident are you that these two will be back before it's too late? Right now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are walking a thin line, balancing between survival and patience. And that's the hardest thing for any team fighting for a playoff spot. Do you rush your stars back, or do you trust the guys already on the field to hold it down? The truth is simple. These injuries have to heal. No shortcuts, no pushing through. Bucky Irving and Chris Godwin both know it. The coaches know it. And maybe the most important thing, they're finally acting like they know it. Because even though the team's hurting, they're still winning. And that changes everything. If Tampa were sliding down the standings, those decisions might look different. But when you're still collecting wins, you can afford to breathe just a little and protect your best players from long-term damage. NFL insider Adam Silverman reported that Bucky's situation has been more complicated than expected. It started as a simple foot sprain, something he might have bounced back from in a week or two. But then came the shoulder injury, and everything changed. Now it's week after week of uncertainty. Chris Godwin's story isn't much better. He came back in week 4 looking ready to roll, but a fibula injury set him back again. There's hope. There's always hope. But Silverman believes we might not see Godwin or Mike Evans until the very end of the regular season. And for a fan base desperate to see the full offense together again, that's tough to swallow. Still, some inside the building believe Godwin might beat that timeline. There's quiet confidence that he could be back sooner. But with Todd Bowles giving vague answers and limited information, nobody can say for sure. So the real question becomes, can the Bucs keep winning without them? We've already seen both sides of the coin. When things click, the offense looks electric. Baker Mayfield playing out of his mind, receivers making clutch grabs, and that chemistry we all love shining through. But then, there are games like the Saints and Lions matchups, sloppy, out of sync, and lacking that spark. It's clear, this team can fight, but it's not easy. The Patriots, Rams, and Bills are coming up fast, and those are no soft matchups. Tampa will have to grind, trust their depth, and hope their leaders stay healthy enough to carry the load. Because if they can hold the line just long enough for their stars to come back, this team could get dangerous again. So let's hear it. Do you believe the Buccaneers can keep winning without Godwin and Bucky, or are these injuries too much to overcome? Drop your take below and rate your confidence in this team from 1 to 10. Tampa fans know what's at stake. Winning 2 of the next 3 would be huge, something to celebrate. Splitting them 1 to 2? Painful, but survivable. But going 0 to 3? That's a disaster. That would bury this team in a hole they might never climb out of. The NFC race is wild this year, and one bad month could send even good teams tumbling down the standings. So now, everything falls on Todd Bowles and his staff. The coaching needs to be sharper than ever. The Saints and Lions games were brutal. Mistakes, missed opportunities, poor adjustments. But now they've had time to regroup. No more excuses. It's time to adapt, time to respond, time to remind the league that Tampa Bay is still dangerous. And let's talk about Baker Mayfield. He's been playing hurt, and you can see it. The swagger, the confidence, that fearless energy that carried him early in the season, it hasn't looked the same. The MVP talk that once surrounded him? Gone. But here's the thing, that doesn't matter anymore. What matters is how he finishes. The bye week may have been exactly what he needed. A reset. A breath. A chance to heal. Because if Baker looks like his old self again, that fiery, confident leader who plays with his heart on fire, Tampa Bay can absolutely steal some wins in this stretch. So far, there's been no new injury designation for Baker, which is great news. He's expected to play, and that's massive for this team's momentum. But let's be real, Tampa still needs more help. Fans are starting to wonder, should they have made a move for another receiver? Maybe someone like Jacoby Myers to keep the offense balanced while Godwin and Bucky heal up? Or should they trust the young guys, players like Emeka Egbuka, who showed flashes of brilliance earlier in the year, and Rackett White, who's quietly grinding out solid performances week after week? Either way, the road ahead isn't going to be easy. The Patriots are no pushover. This is going to be a gritty, hard-fought, blood and sweat kind of game, the kind where every inch counts and every play matters. But this is exactly where the Buccaneers have thrived before. When their backs are against the wall. When no one believes they can pull it off. So here's the real question for every fan watching. Collision, do you think Bucky Irving and Chris Godwin will return this month? Or will Tampa have to fight through November without them? Drop your predictions in the comments and tell me this. What's your confidence level in Baker leading this team through the storm?